My son divorced his wife of 10 years to get together with their nanny. I told him that he was making a mistake, but was an adult and could make his own decisions. He became a crappy father to his children. I wish I could say differently, but there it is. I did my best to ensure my grandchildren knew they were loved and part of a family. My ex-daughter-in-law also remained. We had known her for 14 years and she was always kind and friendly with us. We used the money we were going to leave our son to set up educational funds and a trust fund for his children that he was neglecting. My son had 2 children with his new wife. She always held it against us that we told him she was a mistake. We didn't get to see them very much. She didn't want them around his older children. She didn't want to be around his first wife. It never ended. My son passed away last year. He left her a life insurance policy and a lot of debt. She was a stay-at-home mom and her only job previously was being a nanny. And I'm not sure she would get a good reference from her previous employer. She used the life insurance to pay off all their debts, including the mortgage on their home, but now she started to run through the savings she had. She came over with the kids to see if we would give her money from our son's inheritance. We told her that it was spoken for. We said that we could help her with stuff for the kids, but that she'd need to get a job to support her family. She said we were family, so I said that she had ignored and sidelined us for years. We're only family now that she needs us. I said we would care for our grandchildren, but she needed to work. Afterward, I discussed it with my spouse and they felt I was harsh. She had just lost her husband. I said that she just lost her meal ticket. Am I the idiot for saying I'll support my son's children, but not his widow? I say not the idiot. As you said, she ignored you almost the entire relationship, allowing you hardly any visitation with said grandchildren over her spite at the woman she helped your son cheat on. She purposely kept them away from their grandparents and siblings, all out of spite. As a father, you tried to prevent this whole situation by telling your son he was wrong for having the affair. The ones that matter, the children, are the ones you're still willing to help. She's old enough, like you said, to get a job. If she has to downgrade her home and make ends meet for herself, that's on her. She put herself in that situation. She needs to step up. Interestingly, she, the second wife, was the original kid's nanny and then distanced herself and her kids from those kids. What a horrible woman. I'm willing to guess that if OP gave money directly to the widow, and I think it's smart not to, she would again cut contact the second she felt like she had enough. Oh, and where's her family? Why aren't they helping? She blew up your life, and then her own was blown up, and now she feels like she's owed something? I don't get it. But let her get financial help from her own family. I'm not sure she would get a good reference from her previous employer. LOL. You can actually make pretty good money nannying for rich people, but had an affair with the husband will be a deal breaker for even the most desperate and broke parents. Stand strong. She only came crawling back to you because she doesn't want to work and be a real adult. She used her temporary upper hand to ghost you and now dares to call you family? Absolutely not. If she actually cared about her kids, she would get a job. She just wants to be a leech and take advantage of you. My teen male father cheated on my mom with her sister, aka my aunt, 38, several years ago. So you know that our relationship is a mess. I only tolerate seeing her at my grandparents' house on my grandma and my grandpa's birthdays, New Year's, and other holidays. I just tell myself, she's grandma and grandpa's other daughter. Mom wants to maintain a good relationship with grandma and grandpa too, so I have to be polite. I already hate my aunt enough for her betrayal, but she's taken things further than that and called my mom a bad mother for enrolling me in an international school. She said that people like evil British teachers regularly corrupt our youth and westernize them. So yeah, paranoid idiot as well as homewrecker. Yesterday at my grandpa's birthday, I finally lost it. I flipped out at her when she called my mom a lousy mom yet again. I told her, it's bad enough that you're a backstabbing witch, but you're also a hypocrite. Your perfume, Western. Your clothing, Western. Your medications, Western, but me going to a British school is wrong? How about you screw off? My grandpa, who was way coarser than I could ever be, said nothing. I think he was slightly impressed I finally got the guts to stand up to her. My grandma was not so amused. She quickly scolded me, saying I should try to exercise some restraint instead of blowing up like that. Am I the idiot for calling out my aunt on her hypocrisy? Edit. My father is no longer in our lives. He disappeared after things didn't work out between him and my aunt. Not the idiot. Your response was justified. And she deserved it. Good for you for standing up for yourself, your mother, and what you believe in. Remove her from your life. Considering what she did to her sister, the real question is, why is she still in good graces with her parents? Because it's their daughter. The parents may have been afraid of losing contact with the child. I've seen the same thing happen multiple times. Grandma saying, OP should exercise some restraint instead of blowing up like that. I didn't like you raising your voice and swearing. You should be calmer when speaking truths. I secretly think your grandma wanted to pat you. OP, I think your mom should have drawn a boundary long ago, and you can tell Grandma Dearest that you've exercised restraint for years, and the only result is your aunts bolstered her already awful behavior while she allowed your mother to be insulted to her face repeatedly under her roof. I have a hunch. Between your mother and your aunt, which one was Grandma Dearest's favorite child? I hope you and your mother drop them like sad bags of crap once you reach 18. My sister Madison was bullied in school, her worst bully being James. James bullied her a lot over her looks, and Madison did have some mental health and self-esteem struggles because of him. Madison and James never saw each other again after graduation. Madison was recently looking up the names of old classmates, which is how she learned that James actually died last year. James's daughter Ashley posted on his birthday that she misses him daily, but also knows he's in heaven watching over her. Madison sent a direct message to Ashley, telling her that James wasn't the person Ashley thought he was, and gave examples of some of the things James would say to her. Madison went even further by ending with how she would bet money that James isn't in heaven. Ashley posted screenshots of Madison's messages, getting a lot of attention online. People are leaving comments on Madison's page, calling her a horrible person, and she claims that many people unfriended her online. Madison knows some of the people who saw the post in real life. I don't think it's likely, but Madison is still afraid that this could reflect badly on her at work and possibly impact her ability to get a promotion if her supervisors find out. Madison admits she was angry and didn't think before messaging Ashley, but that it was still justified and she shouldn't have to bite her tongue because James dying doesn't change how he treated her in school. I told Madison that she was to blame for the aforementioned issues and should apologize to Ashley. I agree that you don't need to lie that someone was a great person, even if they've died, but what did she think messaging a grieving kid those things would accomplish? Madison told me she may have done something reckless in a moment of anger, but I'm a terrible sister for not having her back. Our dad is defending Madison because it took years for her to regain her self-esteem because of how people like James treated her in school. Dad says Ashley is young, but she's the same age as Madison when James was making the comments he did towards her, and eventually she'd have to learn some hard truths about who her parents were. Looking back, our mom said it's obvious that Madison responded poorly, but it was done in a moment of anger when she wasn't thinking. Mom insists that everyone would have moved on from it if it hadn't happened online, and this kind of blowback to Madison isn't justified. Our parents both told me that I'm the one who owes an apology to Madison because everyone has gone too far in moments of anger, and Madison doesn't deserve this kind of stress. They told me a good sister would have had compassion instead of judgment. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It doesn't matter how terrible your life has been. You don't have the right to take your anger out on completely innocent people. I'd go so far as to say Madison became a bully when she did that. And if your parents try to excuse her pain, Tell them that the vast majority of bullies were acting out because of pain and anger, but that doesn't change the fact that they're bullies. Yeah, like I feel for Madison, I do. I had some intense bullies in high school, so I still hold a grudge over it, even many years later. But you know what I would never do? Rake their grieving children over the coals of those long-dead sins. What sort of closure could I possibly gain by bullying a child for the heck of it, for what their dad did at least their whole lifetime ago? Madison could have ignored the post, as no one asked for help on funeral expenses or anything like that, or a scholarship to honor him. Or even though I don't think she had to, Madison could have said something general like, I hope he turned his life around and found peace. She didn't have to tell the full truth, unprompted, about someone no longer alive to defend themselves to a grieving family member, and when no one asked her to give or donate. It's just wild that Madison was bullied, but still decided it would be okay to bully a child as an adult. Not the idiot. You're the only sane one in your family. For months, my buddy and his girlfriend had been trying to set me up with her cousin. A couple of weeks ago, I agreed, and a double date was planned for last night. The plan was that my buddy and I would pick up his girlfriend and her cousin at 7 and go to dinner. We picked the restaurant and I made a reservation for 8. It's 30 minutes from her place. Everyone was in on the planning, so everyone knew the schedule. We arrived at her place at 6:45 and they were not ready. We were early, so it's not a big deal. My buddy and I sit and talk till about 7:15. He jokingly reminds his girlfriend that we have a reservation, then comments to me that she always cuts things close. At 7:30, I'm getting a little annoyed that we're cutting it so close. They come out at 7:45 to say they're almost done, then go into her bedroom. 8 rolls around, and at this point, I'm in a bad mood, since it's an hour past when we were supposed to leave. About 10 minutes later, I got up to leave, and my buddy tried to talk me out of it. At this point, I was livid for having to wait over an hour and missing the reservation. Since I made the reservation, they charged me $25 for missing the reservation. This morning, my buddy and his girlfriend texted and called me to tell me what a jerk I was for leaving our planned double date. I defended myself, but they argued we could have gone somewhere else and that I ruined the night for everyone. They wanted me to apologize, but I steadfastly refused. Now I'm not only an idiot, but according to them, a stubborn jerk. Not the idiot. I would counter with, you owe me $25 for causing us to miss our reservation time. Until that's paid, don't contact me again. Bad timekeeping is habitual and rude. She knew when she should have been ready, and most people would have been ready early in anticipation. I won't even be friends with people that are late all the time, let alone date them. This is a clear-cut case of respect or lack of respect. If she doesn't respect your time, she doesn't respect you. Never start or be in a relationship with a person who doesn't respect you. Your buddy might be a doormat that lets his girlfriend walk all over him, but that doesn't mean that you need to put up with the same crap. While fair, asking for the $25 is a bit tacky in my opinion. Take it as a lesson learned and the price of not dealing with this again. If it was $250, that'd be another story. But for $25, it's a pretty cheap lesson. My husband and I have 4 kids: Evan, 20, Adriana, teen, Elizabeth, teen, and Michael, teen. We try to travel 3 to 4 times a year. 3 years ago, the night before we were supposed to leave, my friend told us we couldn't use her cabin anymore. We were all looking for new places, and Adriana sent a listing for this small town in the middle of nowhere. We ignored it the first few times she sent it, but she eventually talked us into looking at it, and it was perfect. We paid a little over $200 a night for a beautiful cabin on the lake with a game room and enough beds to allow everyone to get their own bed. The people were great, the drive wasn't bad, and there were actually a lot of things to do there. It's become one of our favorite vacation spots. When Adriana was a little younger, We pretty much started letting her book family vacations. She had to run everything by us first, but she was the one who chose where we went and where we stayed. Her only condition is that she gets her first pick for rooms and beds. She's even booked an international vacation for us, including flights and a rental car. We've given the other kids opportunities to help with vacations. They all know if they can find a place we'd want to go and stay within a budget, they can get first dibs if we book it. The problems are that they have a hard time sticking to a budget, or they're set on a specific place, even if it's not suitable for everyone. They'll pick a hotel or rental that's nearly the entire or over the vacation budget, or doesn't have enough rooms because it has a specific feature. Because of this, we almost always go with Adriana's choice. We recently spent 3 nights in a cabin with 3 bedrooms. 2 rooms had a king bed and an ensuite. Third had 4 twin beds. Adriana chose one of the rooms with the king beds. There was a pull-out couch available, but none of them wanted it. After we left, they were upset that Adriana got her own room and bathroom, while the rest had to share. I told them they knew the deal and that if they could find a place for everyone, stay within the budget, and pick a place we'd all want to go, they could also choose their room and bed. They say they try, but we always pick Adriana's listing. I told them her listings are usually more practical. We paid under $600 for the cabin we stayed at after taxes and fees. It had so many free activities nearby that the 3-day vacation for 6 people was just under $1,000. They can't beat it with an $1,800 listing with 2 beds and a single bathroom. They think we're being unfair and should rotate who books the vacations and chooses the rooms. But I just don't have that kind of money to throw away, and I'm not going to deal with the fighting that'll inevitably come when they pick a place with not enough beds or bathrooms. You are the idiot. This is a joke, right? You let her book a place with 2 rooms with king beds and 1 bunk room, and then gave her the private room and bath, while the other 3 kids, including 2 boys and a girl, shared a room and bath? BS. No wonder they're angry. No wonder why it's cheaper. Plan your own vacations. If you genuinely believe this to be fair, then you should take the crappy room or pull out, since you're not doing the research either. It's more fair if the person booking has no say over where they sleep, because then they're incentivized to find something that's as equitable as possible. How do you know she couldn't find an even nicer place within the budget, with 1 king suite and 2 bunk rooms? That's a very common setup. She was incentivized to disregard them, knowing a second suite would benefit her when the time came to choose the rooms. Your other kids just sound bad at math and/or research and/or strategy, which is unfortunate, but not a good reason to keep giving them the short end of the stick. I'm sure their future therapists will agree. The more I look, the more it seems like the problem is OP, not Adriana. OP only cares about money and doesn't care about the children. Adriana is just a pawn in this because she likes this stuff, but unfortunately, is causing her relationship with life and her siblings to go south. As long as it's cheap, OP will take it, and it's likely that she would take the cheaper option, even if the rest came with the location just $100 more.